we are going to do a sample combat with our new player, Dave. We'll probably do a more formal introduction where we do like a normal game.
Sounds good to me.
But so it's Nick, Dave, Adam, and Paige. And this will be kind of like combat tutorial 2 for you, Paige. But I think this will be good because 1, we can have the opportunity to kind of try some new stuff you haven't done yet. 2, we can give Dave the opportunity to actually go through sample combat, and it will have stakes. So assume all your characters are currently at unharmed on the damage condition track and unhindered on the peril condition track. And you don't have the pierced sternum, Dave.
Awesome!
So,
that's super
Guillaume does not have a pierced sternum.
What about my current injury?
Ignore it for this purposes of this combat. Yeah, if you have a persistent injury in the normal game, because this is kind of this is literally just a combat test.
Yeah.
Assume that any injuries you have that are persistent are gone. Any equipment and stuff that you've picked up, like obviously keep. In fact, Dave, why don't you tell us about your character?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to just run down this guy? Or
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Guillaume Bivouac. I have made my life as an investigator. I am a young male Gintish from a reverent upbringing in the aristocrat social class. I am tall, athletic, and with an athletic build and a freckled complexion. I have short, textured black hair and kindly eyes, and purple birthmarks. I was born in summer, and my dooming is those who trust you. Those you trust will kill you.
Yeah, so perfect introduction to Zweihander. What sacred remnant do you have?
Oh, my sacred remnant is Hood of the Hangman. This tattered, blood-stained hood is perpetually wet with sweat. It weeps blood with every cut its wearer makes, a fitting tribute to the Crouching One. Effect: weapons cannot make you bleed, nor can injuries inflicted by them.
Cool. Nick,
Sounds
and this
unpleasant to wear.
Yes. So I think
Moist, like
it has a couple of purposes for Guillaume.
who hates the word moist? What was that? Was this like a TV show? Moist. Moist.
Yeah.
It was like The Office or something like that.
I can't remember what one it is, but yeah.
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 Just for Dave's edification, just because we'll obviously do like a more formal introduction when we actually play, but maybe we can read our collective oh boy,
Character doohickeys.
Mad libs at the top of your
all,
character.
all at the same time?
No.
Yeah.
We're gonna give this microphone a good test. Yeah, no, it's not at the same time. That's pretty funny. Actually, I think we did last week we did a thing at the same time where all of the damned in the throng died at once, so everyone had to say
fresh baked bread.
So everyone had to do a separate death rattle, and Nick's was fresh baked bread.
That was a good one.
What was yours, Adam? Do you?
I do not remember.
Do you remember yours, Paige?
It was something like, what in the... And it just ended.
I think Tim's was mommy. I can't remember.
Oh wait, mine was. It just went off.
That's right. That's right. So, starting with Nick, let's do your Mad Lib.
Okay. My name is Toma Laurent. I have made my life as a bailiff. I am a young Gintish man, and I come from an opportunistic upbringing in the low-born social class. I am average stature with a slender build and a fair complexion. I have near-shaved, wavy red hair, innocent eyes, and a crooked nose. I was born in spring, and my dooming is a trick is not an illusion.
Michael. Every time, like Arrested Development, a trick is not an illusion, Michael. Michael's Lord does for money. I can't think every time. I never thought about it when it was being written. And now I just can't. I'm sorry, I can't shake it off.
It's never gonna go away.
What's the sacred remnant that you have?
The sacred remnant that I have is the Grave Digger's Spade.
Grave Digger.
No job is worse than that of the lowly grave digger, save perhaps the night soil worker. Perhaps it's why the custodian blesses her servants with sharp spades to make the job a bit easier. In fact, you can dig a human-sized hole through any material in less than 5 minutes. If used against foes classified as supernatural, treat it as a Zweihander.
Zweihander.
Zweihander?
Well, so it's funny you should ask because so Adam speaks German, and what do you call it in German?
It's Zweihander.
Which people used to think sounded like
Spy Hunter.
the video game. You know, from the late 80s.
Absolutely, the car, yeah.
It happened on a video interview. We were doing an Ask Me Anything, and then it happened in the elevator at Gen Con. And this is like, okay, all right, fine, I'll pronounce it the way Daniel does.
Zweihander.
This is the Midwest, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say
Zweihander.
Zweihander.
We're gonna play some Zweihander
Listen,
tonight.
I'm from Versailles, Missouri.
Versailles, Missouri. Pronounced as Zweihander.
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 It's,
I've actually,
it's a proper noun, so we get to decide how it's pronounced.
it's true. In fact, so the RPG, so the brand manager at Anders McNeil, his name is Daniela, and she is legit from Germany. And here's how she pronounces it: Zweihander, like that. So
Zweihander?
yeah, so she pronounces it correctly. Everybody else in the company is like Zweilander, Zweihander. I'm like it's all gravy, baby.
Yep.
Because mispronunciation is on brand, so nobody is wrong.
I was talking with her, and I said it wrong, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
She goes, "That's okay."
Yeah, she says fine.
So Paige, read your Mad Lib for us, please.
All right, my name is Aspillicent, and I have made my life as a pioneer. I'm a middle-aged Moy Siabra. I come from a reverent upbringing in the aristocrat social class. I am short with an athletic build. I'm albino in complexion. I have natural short black hair with stormy eyes and a Glasgow smile. I was born in spring, and my dooming is stabbed by my own knife. And my sacred remnant is I made myself a little wren.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like tactile things. Here you
Yeah,
she made it.
please. Sorry, I like
Yeah.
steampunk stuff, so
I got a bunch of watches and
That's so
just
cool.
ripped them apart and made it.
That's awesome.
So the Passeres wren, made from tin and clockwork, this tiny songbird was crafted by a druid of the Demiurge to entertain his daughter. Secrets imparted to the wren are held safe forever. The effect is spend a fortune point to have the mechanical wren perfectly mimic any series of words no longer than 280 letters, even when you aren't near it. But I use him to communicate because I only use still sign.
Oh,
So this is how I'm talking to people, is through my
So, in theory, could you not pull information or, sayings or whatever from the previous owner?
Perhaps.
That
Perhaps.
sounds spooky.
If you remember in Planescape, there used to be it's like a imbued skull called a Mimir,
Mm-hmm.
and it would record anything you told to it, and you could have a conversation with it. Was the influence where the inspiration the series ring came from. And 280 characters is the character limit on Twitter, so and it's a bird.
I like the 280 thing. That was
That's
nice.
right, but that's not the only thing that Aspillicent has. She also has a.
Okay, so
Another
my
secret.
dooming is that I'm stabbed by my own knife,
Yeah.
and I ended up ensconcing a Widowmaker blade. Do you want to hear about it?
Yeah, sure. That's just a dope name anyway. I don't care.
It's amazing.
Oh, okay. So ensconcing is like the attunement or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Okay.
But
And
it's
this-
as a tune.
This thing has stuck to me for life.
Gotcha.
Until my death. Dun dun dun. From southernmost Goth Moran, the Emerald Kingdoms of Dunbrood, this blade has been held by kings, knights, and even peasants. But every person who has swung the Widowmaker ends up perishing in some gruesome manner. Said to have been forged from a fallen star, Widowmaker is black as pitch night, and indestructible. With every blow, it leaves painful splinters of the starborn metal in its victims. While the sword has ended many bloodlines, the Widowmaker will ultimately betray the wielder.
I love the fiberglass concept. That's crazy.
It's pretty cool. The effect, every time you deal damage to a foe, they temporarily reduce their damage threshold by 1 until the foe successfully binds wounds. On a crit success, after a foe suffers damage with this weapon, at your option, which I did, they are slain, but you gain 1 permanent chaos rank as a result.
Oh,
Which she did last session.
Which I did.
You just ate it. You're like, nah.
I'm
doing
like,
it.
I'm doing it. It was so good.
I love it.
It was so good. Crit failure.
Oh.
Roll damage and multiply it by 3, and you suffer that damage instead.
Woo.
And the other limits are Widowmaker functions as a one-handed, simple, or martial melee weapon with a distance engaged. Damage is bladed type and has 2 encumbrance. You cannot take advantage of its effects, crit success, or crit failure until it has been ensconced. And I am cursed.
Cursed!
And I can't unensconce it.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're sconced.
I'm sconced.
You're just
Sconce.
hard
Like-
sconced.
For life.
They call it scalped.
I'm sconced.
You're
I'm
sconced.
done. I'm sconced. With
That's
my
awesome.
blade.
That's
yeah.
super dope. That's awesome.
So, last but not least, Pipistrella.
My name is Pipistrella Claviger, and I've made my life as an Auspex. I'm a middle-aged female human and come from a forgotten upbringing in the low-born social class. I'm short with an average build and an albino complexion.
There are 3 albino people, by the way, in
Yep.
the game,
Nice.
in our character, which is totally random. Like, literally, it's totally random. Because you're really
Yeah, well,
talking randomly. Sorry, not to interrupt.
I got to be freckled, so what's up?
I have medium braided blonde hair, kindly eyes, and bushy eyebrows. I was born in winter, and my dooming is 6 of one, half a dozen the other. And the item I have, the sacred remnant I have, is Venetia's Wimple. Once worn by a priestess of the martyr burned at the stake, this wimple is stained with ash. When its wearer stands close to her hearth, they can sometimes hear her wailings betwixt the crackling of fire. The effect is add +1 to your damage and peril thresholds.
Oh, dang. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Pretty nice.
Just get tougher.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think we're gonna begin this combat scenario like we would any other game session. So typically we would do a recap of the previous session, but there's no recap, so we'll skip that. So part of our rituals in playing Zweihander is that you start the game session by rolling initiative. So everybody roll your initiative, and then Adam will record it on our initiative ladder on the far side.
For initiative, you roll a d10.
Oh, just 1d10?
1d10
add
plus your
Plus your
initiative
9,
bonus.
so that would be 4 plus 9.
Although I will say, I think nobody's a watchman, right? Tim's a sellsword. He thought he was a watchman because watchmen roll 2d10.
Nice.
Who watches the watchman at the highest initiative. We have an answer to that question finally.
Turns out.
It turns out.
Or the bounty
Just the one with the
hunter.
eyes.
Or the bounty hunter. Yeah, 'cause bounty
I got
hunter
a
was first.
13.
Guillaume.
For Guillaume Bivouac. Oh, by the way,
Guillaume.
I will be attempting a southern genteel accent
Ooh,
throughout
excellent.
this day. So it's going to get a little rough, I would imagine, but we're going to
I
attempt.
should have made Espillicent have like a Fargo accent.
18.
You know?
Oh,
The Wrens from North Dakota, guys.
oh no, my mother.
Did you know that there's Wrens in North Dakota?
They just have
Yeah,
pretty
I love
songs. Oh, land of
The
Goshen.
damned are all around us.
Damn!
eh?
Oh, look at those husks, you know? Oh.
Custodian, crouched one, and martyr.
Oh, that's a dead body, yeah?
I'm learning lore, damn it.
So our initial ladder looks pretty good. So it's Toma, Pipistrella, Guillaume, and Espillicent. And now that we've established that, we are going to pick up a d6 chaos die and roll it. That'll determine how many misfortune points or fortune points you begin with.
Okay. 3.
3. Okay.
3.
Nobody rolls 6.
Nope.
Give me a 6. Give me a 6.
Don't do it, Adam.
4.
Okay.
Bad baby.
So you have 4 fortune points. I'll just put them up here.
Cool.
I think because now that I'm using my exposed die rolls to all of you, because I have a tendency to roll out of criticals.
Thanks for exposing your die roll.
Yeah, I know. Exposition and expo.
Duh.
I was going somewhere with that, but it wasn't very funny.
Duh.
So now we have our fortune and misfortune points established. So we're just going to dive right in, like I said, just like this is any other whole game session. And this one is going to begin inside, well, the bastion in the chateau. So to keep things simple, just to kind of walk through a pretend scenario, you all have been inside this empty, shadowed hall of some forgotten family for the last few days. You've been on the run in this strange city. uncertain of its name, but it's been a hard road, and you thought you could find respite here. Somewhere beyond the cold stone walls, in the darkness of this city, you can hear the scraping of calloused feet on the cobblestone, a cacophony of them, like lots of like this, kind of a gross sound. If you think about like many feet, and you can hear it even as the wind kind of passes through between the broken mortar of the stonework, as the windows are open to the boulevards outside. You can hear this collection of the damned, as you've come to call them, looking out one of the stained glass windows. In fact, where you are at, Guillaume, you're inside of a kind of a dining hall of a sort. The stained glass window has been broken out, and down below, about 10 feet, you see this kind of boulevard that's about like maybe 15 foot wide at best and a stone's throw long that disappears in the mist. But there must be a collection of 20 or so of these things. You can see their fleshless life kind of moving along the boulevards in a collection. Like they're not standing still, but they're being led by these others who look like them, but they wear the skin and flesh of dead people. And their arm is constantly held in a rest above their head with a sputtering torch, who you've come to collectively call torch bearers, not torch bearers, or the torch bearers.
Yeah.
And they seem to lead the husks, like the ones that look like the flayed flesh of the kind of anatomical book, seems to lead them in procession. And you know it's only a matter of time until they make their way into the chateau where you're at. And you all are split within the chateau, separate from one another. So, because we're going to literally just dive right into combat to walk you through the mechanics, we're just going to jump right into combat, assuming you all are kind of split up inside the chateau somewhere. So, we'll flip it here, and voila! So
worth every penny. Oh my god!
So the first thing that you can see in the chateau is at the top of the stairwell up here on the landing is where you're going to find Toma. Halfway down the landing, not far from him, is moi, who is a Spillicent. Gotcha. In the... Oops, I flipped these characters around. In the library, here in the far side, right back here, I think I can do a little bit of this. All right. You can see that is where we're going to find Pipistrella. And of course, in the dining hall is where we see Guillaume. And Guillaume, just as you saw outside that window,
just slightly peed my pants.
Yeah.
Just a smidge.
The damned are moving in procession down the boulevard. The window you're looking out of course, is broken and shattered. So we're just gonna, and you don't really know who is beyond the doors. You don't know. You know you're all kind of split up. You don't know who else is in the courtyard, but you think the inside of the chateau is safe. So starting with Toma, so Nick. So the beginning of your turn, what happens? You gain 3 action points.
Okay, right.
You already failed the first question. I'm just kidding. So at the beginning of your turn in Zweihander, you immediately gain 3 action points, unless you are stunned. So action points that actually you don't get your action points until your turn begins. So that means the initiative ladder in the first round is incredibly important, because you could, if you play the initiative ladder right, you can decimate foes very quickly, or vice versa.
Gotcha.
So if we're looking at where you're at over here. And like I said, we could use table talk is fine for purposes of what we're doing tonight. Okay. To kind of walk through all this. So we can be ultra mechanical. We can get into the details. That's perfectly fine.
So despite the fact that we know that this area is safe, in the interest of actually doing the combat, I will use my action points to attack these things. So I will.
You don't see any inside the chateau.
Okay.
Yes, you are inside the entranceway here,
Hmm.
on top of the landing.
So I don't know anyone's here.
You know that they're outside and they're going to start pouring in at some point.
What about
Okay.
companions, right? He knows, like, Aspillicin.
Yeah, you can
One
see.
more
Yeah,
time.
so
Pipistrella.
you can see Aspillicin across from you. You know, Pipistrella is somewhere deeper inside the chateau, and Guillaume is somewhere inside as well.
Okay.
You all kind of explore this place. You're kind of collecting together. So you're in the kind of the main hall. So
All right.
if you recall, like there is actually like a hearth down below the landing on the stairs here.
Mhm.
I don't have it actually put in here, but that's where your character is positioned right now. The doors, the front of the chateau, are completely shut.
Okay. All right. Well, I will start my turn by equipping my flanged mace,
Okay.
and then heading down the stairs towards the door.
For a hustle,
Yes.
do the hustle.
It's probably gonna end up being a run at this point, just seeing how far I am from the hole in the wall. So my movement's 8, so I'm gonna start moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's my first action point.
Uh-huh.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Doors are closed.
Okay.
So you have to pause. You
So
have to stop
five.
your movement. So like whenever you're moving,
Yep.
and you come to a door, your movement terminates.
Gotcha.
And then you can use an AP to interact,
To interact.
with the door.
Okay. I'll interact the door to open it.
Okay, go and open the doors.
Yes.
All right.
Well, that wasn't ominous at all, dang.
Right outside the door. There it is. Literally. One,
Oh, motherfucker.
2, 3,
Those.
4. Just outside the door in the courtyard, standing amid a field of bones. As you've learned that this courtyard is essentially like the bones of the dead have kind of, like in Poltergeist, they kind of washed up in a terrible rain. And among them, you can see these figures that wear these long, tattered gray cloaks, moth-eaten and torn. And some are beneath the pitch blackness where their head should be. All you can see is these 2 burning pinpricks of white light.
Oh.
What would you do?
I'm gonna dream about that tonight.
Yeah,
So I'm out of AP, so I'll just stand there.
Okay,
Okay.
So my turn is over, and now it is Pipistrella's turn.
Right.
so we hand off the initiative baton. So when your turn is over, when you spent your AP, you'll look at the initiative ladder and you'll say, okay, it's next person's turn. In this case, it's Pipistrella.
Yeah, so far I'm the worst at doing it.
All right. So like, say he had like he only did 2 action points there,
Yes,
right? He would still have 1 action point, correct? That he could
Mhm.
use on like a reaction or something like that.
that's right. In fact, he could have spent a fortune point to do something else if he
I
wanted
had
to.
Okay.
2
But he
movements.
spent 2 for movement and then
And
1
then
for
interact.
interact.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's 3 action points. So you
Cool,
can
cool,
always draw from your group fortune pool to gain additional action points.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but you can't do 2 successful perilous stunts or 2 successful attacks.
Okay.
There's no multi attacks.
Right.
But yeah, you can always draw up on the fortune pool. Remember,
I could
once
definitely
you use,
come in pretty clutch, right?
yeah. But remember, when you use fortune, it comes to me
As a
It's my
misfortune, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
So Pipistrella,
Okay.
what will you do?
Okay, Pipistrella will
I'll rotate the tail around to you here.
hustle.
In the library.
Is 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She'll have to hustle again.
Right as you come through the doorway.
Oh.
Oh.
So like right here.
Right.
yeah,
in the
yeah,
element.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
So you can continue your movement if you want to. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a...
Do me a
Theoretically.
favor, Dave. Get behind you. There should be 4 figures with big hats.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Hand
boy.
those to me.
Big hats.
No.
Big hats. The big hat baddies.
These are. Hi. I'm Brandon. We're the Big Hat Man.
On the other side,
Oh, jeez.
you can see right as you come into the doorway. You can see that the stained glass window
Mm-hmm.
here has been broken.
Mm.
And you can see bits
Picking
and
up on
shards
my
of
tactics.
glass all over the floor, and you can see tatters of this, also a robed figure wearing this
Yeah.
big broad hat with a stick, slowly ambling toward you, about man-sized. Do you want to continue your movement from where you're at? You don't have to stop your movement, but you can choose. Just I want to give you some context what you're seeing
Yep.
in the room.
Is there anything littered and strewn upon the ground here? So
Not right there. You're actually coming into what appears to have been a reflectory.
Mhm.
There's shelves lined with books and some cushioned couches and maybe a table or two.
on this table, would there be like a candelabra or something?
Yeah, candles burning. Yeah, of course, you need light in this place.
She's gonna go over and grab the candelabra,
Okay, 1 action point.
and then she's going to try and strike this person or this thing
Yeah.
with the candelabra.
Sweet. Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit, and this is going to be standard.
As she forgot yet again to get her weapon ready,
Oh, yeah.
as Clovis has been yelling at her over and over again.
So, if you wouldn't mind, walk us through how a skill test is made.
Yeah, so when you make a skill test, you get called out a certain skill, or sometimes you know what skill you're going to use, but there's also a difficulty assigned to it. So I know that a candelabra is going to be an improvised weapon, and I know that that's a simple melee weapon. I know that from experience, but
Plenty of rocks.
what was that?
Standard.
So the difficulty is going to be standard. So I look to see if I have any ranks in simple melee. I've got 1, and that'll give me plus 10 to my skill test. And I know that a simple melee is a combat test. My combat score is 41, so it'll be 51
How does the standard difficulty rating change over?
by plus or minus 0.
All right.
So it'll be 51.
Gotcha.
So let's see. So I move forward. I grab the candelabra for 1. I'm striking for 1.
Yep.
Whack.
And in typical Pipistrella fashion,
What'd you roll? Oh, my God.
I rolled a 55, which is a crit failure.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Well,
Pip.
gosh, really? Okay, so there's one certainty in every game we play, and it's that Adam is going to roll a ton of criticals, and I'm going to run a ton of criticals.
Okay.
And Nick's going to roll criticals at good moments, and I'm going to roll criticals at every moment. But it's not a 700 session unless Adam's roll a critical success. So as you swing the candelabra, it actually gets caught in your robes, and you think you're going to catch yourself on fire, and you fling the thing, and it crashes against the wall, and the light extinguishes. As you're now in total darkness.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so quick point of clarification. When you were in total darkness, you cannot use assist dice, and you flip to fail perception-based skill tests, and you cannot target anyone with magic or weapons outside of engaged. So
Okay.
it's and I'll typically track that. You don't have to worry about knowing that. It's just you all should know that in total darkness it's that way.
And the criticals because it was
I
55?
Matched, yeah, I
'Cause it was
matched.
5 and 5.
I matched numbers, and
then you were
failed.
above.
failed,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
51% chance to succeed, and you rolled a 55.
Yeah.
Copy that.
So it's
Thank you.
55, 66, 77, 88, 99, or 100 be a crit fail for that. But it's not the case for all die rolls. It's only it's based on what your percent chance is, your total chance to strike. So
Okay.
if he had a 70, let's say he had a 71, that would have been a critical success instead.
Gotcha. Right, because he's yeah. I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you.
So the darkness.
Crits happen.
Yeah, crits happen. That's right. That should be literally a T-shirt for you and for me too.
I'll make one with a permanent marker.
Anything else you want to do, Pipistrella? You do have 4 fortune sitting up here that you could turn into misfortune for me.
Oh boy.
Should I use 2 or just keep them?
It's up to you, Pip.
All right.
I scream through the window.
never-
You do you, girl.
Okay, so I'm going to use 1 to get out a calcified Soma and break it and
Okay.
huff it.
All
Yeah.
right. So you invoking the first secret of Soma.
Uh-huh.
What happens when you invoke the first secret of Soma?
Curse the calcified Soma in hand to add 1d6 to weapon damage and 1d10 to fire and magic damage for 1 hour. You gain 9 corruption as a result.
Woo!
So, yeah.
Are you neck deep in are you going to get a drawback at that point then? Or no, you're not at 9 currently. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Probably
Right.
going to get a chaos rank if it's a
Yeah.
normal session.
Chaos rank. That's
Yeah.
what I'm sorry.
So she huffs that in and
So I'm so sorry.
So
It's chaos to corruption, and then each time you get a corruption point, it's a drawback.
No,
so-
Corruption is the
Corruption.
session per session value,
Right.
and chaos is the
End.
end of the session value to that.
Gotcha.
After-
Sorry.
After 10 sessions at the minimum, we'll do one thing or the other. But
Yeah.
it could be 19.
Gotcha.
You could, yeah.
I have
so
a
you're,
permanent marker block.
yeah. So corruption
Oops.
you'll either rationalize your actions that session as a character, or you'll fall prey to the choices that you made. And if you fall prey, that means you get a chaos rank. If you rationalize it and manage to overcome, it turns into an order rank. And that's always handled at the end of the game session. But corruption, you're going to gain, because once again, you're gonna come against at least one difficult moral decision every single game session. And there are also things that you could do to gain corruption, like taking laudanum, using smelling salts, using drugs, using tinctures, suffering injuries.
Oh crap!
Suffering
That's
from
literally what my okay.
Yeah, stress, fear, and terror. Using calcified Soma, which they've discovered the first secret of so far in the game. We'll talk about that probably in a normal session, but the reality, but above board, when the damned are slain, you can actually withdraw what used to be their heart. It hardens once they're quieted, and it's called calcified Soma. They've unlocked one secret of it so far. Actually, unlocked two secrets technically, because a new secret was revealed last game session.
We'll find out what it does.
Yeah.
Next game session.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dope. All right.
So, on that's 1 AP.
Yep.
And then the second AP is to
Misfortune, take that.
to lean back, and she'll say, just like Marie taught me, and swing forward and try and hit this guy.
I love it. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So barehanded attack. It is also going to be standard.
Okay. So another 51% chance.
You got it.
Feeling
man.
22 right here.
A 12.
We'll take that.
Close.
Nice.
You were close.
He's
yeah.
right. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. So.
And you get to add your additional guy, right?
Yeah, that's 1d6 normally, but plus another because I took the calcified Soma. And that's 2 1s adding up to... You guys are going to hate me, but I'm going to take one of those to turn
to
one into a
base
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can use a fortune point to turn any 6-sided die that you have rolled or somebody else has rolled into a phase 6.
All right.
I can do the same thing too. Like when you roll for injuries, sometimes I spend misfortune points to make you say
Just to be sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
It is a push-pull mechanic. But yeah,
Okay.
so you'll turn that into a phase 6. That's now 7 damage plus.
Another 6.
Nice.
Nice.
So 13
Woohoo.
Hit one.
plus 3 is 16 plus 6 is 22.
Wow.
I mean,
That's a good punch, Viv.
that's a good move
so-
Marie taught me.
I was
That's
gonna say that was great
Thank you,
flavor to it too.
Marie.
Yeah.
So the casualty, as it's called,
Casualty.
is not lightly wounded, but it's not moderately wounded. As
Oh.
I measure by little rings, it is seriously wounded.
Wham.
And speaking of which, I'm going to determine my initiative now. I forgot to do that whenever
no.
combat began. So the casualties.
What a shot.
So these are called casualties,
Okay.
and they have an initiative of 9 plus 7, so 16. Wow.
Well, that worked out beautiful.
It did. Beautiful. Some casualties.
Business casualty.
Lovely.
One thing you notice about the business casualty,
Has what?
16. One thing you notice about these
Memo.
these casualties is that their necks are unusually twisted up, and they're constantly looking toward the ceiling, and the little burning pinpricks in their eyes hang low in the bottom of where their fleshy skull is.
Ugh.
And they're wearing what looks like tatters of brigandine armor, like armor they wore perhaps in a distant past in a war they fought when the Mercator dynasty was brought low.
Oh.
And they have somehow survived, channeling an eternal grief into hatred. They will do everything they can do to consume the living. And you notice that it has a saber rattling at its side. Anything else, Pipistrella?
Do I roll for injury at all?
Yes, you need to. My apologies. Roll 2d6. Because it is not moderately wounded, but seriously wounded, so it's 2d6.
There's a 6.
Nice.
Let's go.
Okay, serious injury?
Yep.
Nice, okay.
Let's go.
So you get to choose. Any card, pick a card, any card. What injury does it suffer?
Stacks,
Adam?
big
read
stacks.
Read it aloud.
Stab wound.
Stab wound with a fist.
So
An iron
hard.
fist.
Just knuckled right
That
in.
weird ring on, Pip.
Yeah. Marie also taught me to turn it around. To whichever. If it's a closed fist, turn it out. If it's a slap, turn it in.
Are you wearing your prayer beads? Like that's a
Sure, yeah.
stab
Like
wound?
one of those
Yes.
kung fu punches.
So stab wound gains 6 corruption.
That is a gain 6 corruption, obviously, yes.
They are knocked prone. An ally must treat injury until fully recuperated. They cannot parry or dodge.
Nice. So they have
That
now
was clutch.
suffered something pretty terrible. This thing has suffered something pretty terrible. Put the stab wound right there, just for my memory. I guess it's... Anything else you wish to do, Pipistrella?
Oh no! I mean, I wish to do a lot,
Oh,
but
no.
nothing else I will do.
Oh, yes.
And now it is the Casualty's turn.
Mhm.
Casualties.
Casualty! Okay, so the first thing that happens, if we turn the camera back to where Toma had opened the doors into the throng of the casualties, they begin to pour in.
More like, oh no, Ma.
Oh man! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're just gonna kind of do this bit.
I could just swing on all of them
They're not
as they
passing.
run by.
They are not outside of your initiative. They're outside of your engaged range yet. So
Oh, okay.
when somebody, so this is a good It's a good question. So you can provoke opportunity attacks if you move outside of engage once you're engaged with an enemy. So the thing to know about gridded combat in Zweihander, well, this is more of a house rule. First off, we don't use diagonal movement because
Okay,
diagonal
I was
movement's
about to ask
faster
that.
across the battlefield. So
Yep.
what we do, in fact, is we just do when you move, you kind of do you count out your squares, you move cardinal directions.
Cool.
But you could technically attack diagonally, but we just
Okay.
don't move diagonally just because it's a home rule because we literally only get it's a 2 foot by 2 foot
Right.
terrain
Yeah, I'm
here.
with you.
Yeah. So here's what happens. And I can actually
Oh,
get
that was
to
my
these
other
people.
question about opportunity attacks. Does that just like say you have a weapon that's a little more longer than engaged?
Yes.
That would
Like
like that
reach.
attack. Yes, that attack of opportunity would apply to that
Yeah,
range. I
it
would
would
assume.
It,
If
would,
you're-
it would
you have a
actually
weapon.
happen when they engage you.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
weapons with the reach quality
Yeah.
allow you to make an opportunity attack as they engage with you.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so so yes, in fact, you do get an opportunity attack against one of them because he's one of these casualties as they pour in actually comes to the door directly to your right.
Okay.
So as he passes by, you can swing your weapon. It's an easy test.
Okay. So, I am using a flange mace, which uses the martial melee skill.
Okay.
My martial melee, as you can see here, is a 61% chance to succeed, and since it's easy, it turns into an 81.
So yeah, pretty solid chance of rolling below that. I got you.
However, I rolled a 96,
Wow.
so I did not hit. But I'll go ahead and use the last fate point, or the last fortune point to re-roll.
Okay, I'll take that. Wow.
And this time I did hit.
Nice, you brain it with your mace.
All right, so rolling my damage, my combat bonus is 7, so I'm going to be doing d6 plus 7 damage. So that's 11 damage,
Nice.
and a flange mace has the powerful quality, which means when I strike a foe with it, they must resist or be shoved out of the engagement.
Nice.
So, resist with.
I believe it's coordination, yes.
Yep. So, my test in this case will only be 35 and roll an 81. But I'm gonna use a misfortune point to try to roll because I don't want it pushed back. I need to get to that door.
Wait, those don't recycle to an actual tone. Ours, does it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
cycling back and forth. So I spend a misfortune, it goes back to fortune.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So 27, it resisted.
Well done.
It is lightly wounded as it makes it to the door.
Okay.
So that's one action point. It's going to spend another action point to open the door and see all the people. I need to get that. I love these doors. They're very hard to open. Thank you, WizKids. These are actually amazing doors. Please send me more. So it uses its final action point to close the distance.
Boy.
It'll close the distance beside Pipistrella in the reflectory over here, as we can see.
Oh, not more.
The other one, as it uses one action point to come to the door, as it also provokes an opportunity attack
Okay.
from Toma.
Difficulty easy again?
It is going to be easy again, yes. Opportunity attacks are typically always easy because we have to make them worthwhile.
81% chance to succeed again, and I rolled 36.
Nice.
This time.
Roll damage.
So damage is going to be
That's a
That's a
6.
6, and a 3, that's 9, plus 6 is 15. And then roll for powerful and see if he gets shoved out of the engagement.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I say 15? I meant 16.
16 damage?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So it is technically moderately wounded. I'll roll to see if it's shoved. I'm not going to spend a fortune point. It's actually pushed forward into the door. It'll lose an action point because of that. So roll d6 cast die for moderately wounded.
I rolled 2 and 1s.
Okay.
Not succeed.
Okay. So you brain it in it because you shoved it. It's already passing by you, but we don't want to make that a useless action. So you actually will rob it of one action point.
Cool.
So it now only has one action point left. It will open the door and it will see Guillaume, and then its turn is over.
Ho!
Yeah. So we gotta make that useful, right? And for some reason, these doors open this way instead. Just because.
Well, if it opened the other way, then it would just push to the door, right?
Yeah.
That
This
makes
door is
sense.
over that way because I positioned it that way, man.
Did that on purpose.
Did it on purpose. At the door. So if we're looking back here, this one's staying at the door, and it as it's kind of rattling toward you. You can hear the kind of stressing of the leather and the old rings of its brigandine kind of rattling together, and you see it kind of its head still twisted upward. You hear this kind of like it's sucking the ether into its lungs that don't exist. It almost sounds like this strange kind of hollow whistling inside of its throat, and you can say as it uses this death rattle. As I spend my misfortune point to force engaged foes to withstand horror. So make a challenging resolve test. I'm sorry, put him in the door. He should actually be inside the door.
This guy?
Yeah, my guy. Yeah, thank you. So because you're engaged with it, go ahead and make a challenging resolve test. This is to withstand stress, by the way.
Resolve.
This
okay.
is just for Toma.
It's only Toma.
So my resolve is 52.
Mm-hmm.
And then since it's challenging, it turns into a 42. And I rolled a 99, which is a critical failure.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
Okay, so you're not going to suffer from
Bless your
stress. You're
heart,
going to
dude.
suffer
God
fear
damn.
instead. So when you withstand horror in certain situations,
Yeah.
you're going to suffer stress, fear, or terror.
Okay.
And those have different peril outcomes. In fact, some drawbacks trigger off of stress, fear, and terror.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you don't have any drawbacks that trigger off that.
Not
But
yet.
you are going to suffer some peril. So you're going to gain 6 corruption.
Okay.
And you're also going to, ooh, look at that, that's a 10. 16 mental peril.
Okay.
So peril comes in 2 flavors, mental or physical, but it always tracks to the same track because some traits and talents allow you to ignore certain types of peril.
So since my peril threshold is 8, and my second threshold is 14, I'm moving 2 steps down the peril condition track to ignore 1 skill rank.
Okay.
Yep. Gotcha. Cool.
And then finally, as it has, it's got one action point left. It is going to attack with its rapier. It's rattling at its waist. And that's his third action. Actually, I need to spend a misfortune for that because it didn't draw its weapon at the beginning of its turn. So if you draw a weapon at the beginning of your turn, you don't spend any action points on it. But if you draw or switch in the middle of it, cost an action point.
Gotcha.
So you hear this kind of terrible scraping of the sword against the protecting rung around this rotten leather saber sheath. And it kind of lunges forward with its eyes kind of hanging low in its sockets. And it kind of lunges toward you, and I'm going to attack for a melee attack.
Eat more than chicken.
MBD. Eat more chicken. That's the
All right.
I rolled a 93.
That baby.
And I don't really feel good about that,
Oh my
but I
gosh,
also want to
how about that?
retain some action points here. So, or some misfortune points. So I'm just going to hold fast.
Okay.
It misses,
She'll be
and
fine.
the casualty's turn is technically over. It's now Guillaume's turn. Guillaume, it's your turn.
All right.
So if we're looking at where you're at, you are in this. You're obviously in this distant kind of. You're in this
Facing the
distant-
street here.
Yeah. So you're facing the street
Kinda dining
outside
hall.
the stained glass window, and you can see that the damned are in their slow death march down the boulevard. And if you look down either side, there's just this thick mist that's persistent throughout all of this strange city.
Yeah. No. What Guillaume's plan was to turn and tell the rest of his compatriots that there might be a problem with that particular terrifying cat is out of the bag. So, Guillaume is gonna ready his bullwhip.
Okay?
Is that cost an action point?
Costs 0 action points.
Because I
the
did it at
beginning
the
of
start.
your
Okay.
turn. That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure I had that right. So yeah.
Castlevania style.
And seeing Toma getting toe up, I'm going to move. I'm going to hustle for
Okay.
1 action point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could probably have done that more optimally, but
You know, these things happen.
5. Was that 6? No. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Cool.
Got it.
So, quick note, and this is also a house where we play chess rules around the table. So once you move if you take your fingers off your figure,
Copy.
that's where you move to. That's okay. You didn't
All right.
know.
Yeah.
That was just for future reference. So if we're kind of,
I forget a lot.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
gonna spin the camera around so other
Yeah,
people
yeah.
can see this. But you're kind of at the door essentially now.
Yep.
And you're facing one of the casualties at this point.
Yep.
And outside the stained glass window, you still hear the death march of the husks, the throng of the dead.
So, take an aim at the looks to be moderately wounded one right inside the door. I am going to make an attack with my bullwhip.
Do you want to take aim for 1 action point? You
That
can do that.
is-
And I had a plus 10%
Under
for you to
special
succeed.
action.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can only attack once per turn anyway, right?
Successfully.
Success.
So if you miss, you can try again, but it gets
Got
worse.
it.
Yeah.
So I want to. No, because Toma looks like he is in a spot. So no, I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just gonna straight up attack before taking aim here.
In his bullwhip, just to clarify, his bullwhip
Yes.
has engaged or 1 yard away.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why I stayed a
right.
respectful distance from this particular gentleman.
Respectful distance. That's right. So it's gonna be a standard test for you.
Standard.
Yeah.
So that is a simple melee. So that gives me a plus 10. My combat is 54, so 64. Right?
That's correct.
Standard.
Standard.
Yeah,
So
plus
0.
0, right.
Yep. Plus minus 0. That's right.
What'd you roll?
Uh-oh.
That'd be an 81. Or I'm sorry, no, it's not. It's an 18. What am I doing? It's
Oh,
a 10
nice.
die. It's a 10 die. That's an 18.
So-
Way different.
You struck. So we know
Sweet.
we know a bullwhip has the entangling quality.
Entangling quality.
So you have a choice. You can either use takedown, you can invoke a takedown, or you can invoke a chokehold. It's up to you.
Yep. So I believe what I'm going to do for that gentleman is going to be the takedown.
Okay. Cool.
So make an athletics or coordination test.
So, quick point of clarification on this too. So, a weapon that provokes a perilous stunt, you don't have to roll to strike with it. You don't have to roll to invoke the perilous stunt. It actually you just have to resist.
nice.
Yeah. So you choose what you happen. You choose a
Oh.
takedown or chokehold. You chose a takedown. So the thing that they do is they roll to resist, and I believe because it's entangling, it's also flip to fail.
I don't have that written down, but quite possibly.
Yeah. We can look at the entangling quality real quick just to clarify for everybody else.
It is known.
It is known. Bullwhip does 0 damage. It's ineffective. But what it can do is it can provoke perilous stunts. So, entangling quality. After a foe is hit with this weapon, but before damage is rolled and at your option, force a foe to resist a chokehold or takedown. They flip to fail to resist it.
Nice.
So,
All right, yeah.
it's going to attempt to resist a takedown, which is probably smart.
Takedown.
Because its coordination is dog crap.
I was kind of impressed by like watching that.
Yeah.
Just knock a dude down real fast. I was
You,
like, I want to do that.
you grab it and snap it and pull. You pull the casualty to the ground as it collapses to the ground. It does not drop its rapier, but it is now prone. And prone targets in Zweihander suffer more damage. They suffer an additional d6 damage when you strike them with a weapon that can do damage.
Hell yeah.
If you have a weapon that doesn't do damage, you won't get the additional damage, obviously. So
Okay.
you've used 1 action point to hustle, 1 action point to do a melee attack with your bullwhip, and then you have 1 action point remaining.
Yep. I'm gonna. Can I just do the wait until later to act, but must do so before the beginning of the next turn? Spend 1 fortune point to interrupt a foe's turn.
So you can wait. When you wait, you actually don't take any actions at all. Like you're like, I don't know what to do. I want to wait.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
but what you could do is bank that last action point for a dodge or a parry in between turns.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's
So-
that's about the best I can do.
So you'll bank an action point on your
Oh.
side.
Okay, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No,
No,
by all
I
means.
was looking at the takedown. It was pushed 3 yards away or knocked prone.
Yeah,
Did
it's
I
up to
get
you.
that 3 yards away?
I'm sorry.
So could it says either be pushed 3 yards away from you or knocked prone when
Oh
you,
yeah,
where
that's,
they stand.
That's an important distinction in
And
the
I just-
starter kit. Is takedown could actually now push people away. So you want
Yeah.
to push them away, or you want to take them off the
I
screen?
would like to push him away and get him away from Toma. Would be like my ideal scenario here, and I have no idea if that actually involves getting him an opportunity attack to push him away. But at the very least,
forced movement doesn't provoke opportunity.
Okay,
attacks.
cool.
However, because you're changing the outcome, you're going to edit the situation. So you're going to spend a fortune point. So,
Gotcha.
So you now are the game master. Explain what happens narratively. What are we
sure.
saying?
So what you see is Guillaume immediately, upon seeing this, these guys surrounding Toma, having absolutely none of it, whips his the whip around his head, just kind of like wraps it around the entire guy's torso. So he still has like the saber or whatever, and then he just flings as hard as he possibly can and just spins the dude about 9 feet away.
That's great.
Just kind of wildly, the arms just
Yeah,
kind
so
of.
it's moving back 3 yards. This just does 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you wind him up and then just pull it, and it's what are those
yo-yo.
things called? Okay, not yo-yo,
It's
but
like Beyblade.
it's like
Oh.
like Beyblade. It's your ripper. you spin the casualty across the way like a Beyblade.
Yes, functionally, that's what you saw.
That's hilarious. Because I've been playing a lot of Beyblade with my
Respect.
6-year-old.
Respect.
That's right.
I don't know if that was the right choice or the wrong choice, prone versus knockback, but like,
It doesn't matter. You'll figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah. tactics
tactics are going to vary. In Zweihander's a very tactical combat game. So, okay, cool. So now,
That's it.
Anything else? Okay, so you need to pass the initiative baton onward.
that's Millicent.
Lovely. I'm going to hustle to the guy that just got whipped.
Down the stairs. Yep.
Sorry, I just like whipped.
Whipped.
So you want to become engaged with him?
Yeah, I'm
You're
gonna.
engaged.
I'm engaged.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna equip my staff.
Your staff or your sword?
I do want to. I'm gonna go Widowmaker. I'm gonna equip the Widowmaker.
Love
Consider
it.
this. There is literally 0 stakes.
Okay,
at this
I'm going
point,
Widowmaker.
because it is just a
it's an
test
intense.
combat.
It's an intense. So since this is a test, I'm going Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Hell
so you'll
yeah.
draw. So that's going to cost you an action point.
I know because I didn't do
Yeah.
it beforehand, but I was right. I was concerned, so that's
Yeah.
fine. So,
Cares about-
shing. And I'm gonna go after broke
Okay. Yeah, casualty.
dude.
Yeah. He is currently. The thing is currently moderately wounded,
Okay.
and it's spinning like a top, and it slams against the wall. And,
Okay.
and doesn't seem to be necessarily wound up, but its head is still craned upward, like stuck, twisted permanently toward the ceiling.
Okay.
I guess I got her.
And what's the difficulty?
It is going to be standard because you hustled. You should have charged. If you charge, you get additional plus 1d6 cast die for
He
damage
only
if
has
you hit.
3 AP each year. He used to.
That's right, yeah. So if you in the future, just for everyone's reference, if you charge, you get it's 2 action points. You double your movement. You get plus 10% to hit, and then if you terminate your charge with a melee attack, you add additional d6 damage.
Okay. So
Charging matters.
55
Cool.
I'm gonna have to remember
is
all
what I
these
need.
Mm-hmm.
The clear one is going to be my 10.
Nice.
I got 17.
Okay, cool. Roll damage.
Nice.
Here's the ultimate test page. Can you conjugate damage on your own?
Oh, nobody help.
It's always 1d6. Oh, sorry.
Shibishi. So I got a 3 plus my combat, which is 4. 8, 7.
7. Oh! Your sword drives into the casualty, and it slides and gets caught in one of the rings of leathers, and as you pull it away, you actually break apart bits and pieces of the armor, the sinew that have been stitched to hold it together, as it remains moderately wounded. You did not do enough damage to penetrate its damage threshold.
That's okay.
Yep, so if you strike and you don't do enough damage, I'll always tell you the current damage threshold, and I'll explain narratively what happens.
Okay.
So, not enough damage, unfortunately. Unless you want to spend a fortune point.
Yeah.
If you do that, you turn your 6-sided die into a 6.
Okay. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, and then
That means you
Keep
automatically
rolling.
get to roll again.
Yeah, keep
Right,
rolling.
Right. Okay.
Come on, 6. 3.
so 6 plus 3
Plus 4. Wait, is my combat?
Yep.
Okay, so I did that right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13.
13. Okay, that is enough to render it to seriously wounded.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Seriously, because it is seriously wounded, you can roll 2d6 cast dice and see if it suffers an injury.
Syruply.
2Ds.
Wait, what? 2D? Oh.
2d6. 2d
Yeah,
from
4 to
back to life.
6.
Oh, an injury! Another one!
Roll
Oh,
another,
man!
roll another 6.
Okay.
Or
Well-
roll another D6.
No.
No,
Oh,
this
okay.
is generally to determine if it has an injury. So when you roll, when you roll
Gotcha.
chaos dice to determine if it suffers an injury, if it lands on a phase 6, you get to pick and choose an injury. It's entirely up to you. And then you read aloud what happens.
Devastated foot. I gain 6 corruption.
No, it gains 6 corruption.
It gains 6 corruption.
Uh-huh.
They are knocked prone.
Yes.
An ally must treat their injury
Nice.
until fully recuperated, reduces their movement by 6.
Yes. So I'll take that.
I sliced his foot,
Put
his
that right
Achilles
here.
tendon.
Spell a cent.
Well done.
I have no regrets about pushing this dude back now.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Yes. He has
All
a
right.
sliver of my Widowmaker in his Achilles tendon.
That's right. He has a
So
-1 damage threshold too. So
Mhm.
-6 movement.
Oh, you know,
-1 DT8.
I want to practice tonight on my next round the Mask of Fear. So above table, I'm going to ask you about my Mask of Fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to know how to use it?
Like, do I? Because I have it on,
Yeah.
and it says like select one foe in combat.
Yes.
Foe suffers a -20 base chance to use skills against me.
So I'll give you a good kind of parallel. So when you put on your clothing to go to a party, you're just putting your clothing on. But when you go to the party, you don your costume, right?
Right.
You're entering the party so people can see you in the clothing. Same thing with your mask. You may be wearing it, but to don the mask is to provoke its use, right? So
Right.
it's when you're like, okay, now I'm looking through my mask. I'm gonna use my mask of fear, and you would narratively explain what's happening.
Okay, so does that cause to equip it or to do it, or is that just part of me?
Part of you.
Okay. That's what I was wanting to try to figure
You
out.
just need to let him know which one is your target whenever you do.
Yep,
Gotcha.
that's right.
For some reason, I also just pictured a Spillicent's like steampunk Ren, just like as she's just running down the stairs.
Yes. Espillicent is done, and
Death to all opposers!
it is now Toma.
Toma! Round 2! And I think
Alright.
round 2 we should ramp up the action a little bit here.
Hell yeah.
Okay, you're at the threshold. You're at the door.
Alright, well, there is... am I still in the engagement with the, one I got knocked down?
You were not. No.
Okay. Okay.
So if we're looking here at the battle map, the one that's knocked down is in this square here. This one is engaged with you. This one is engaged with you as well.
Okay.
What do you do?
I will. I'm just gonna standard attack one of them. It doesn't matter which.
So
I
melee attack.
don't. Yeah, melee attack. I don't have warfare, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna choose. What's the difficulty?
It's going to be standard.
Okay. So since I am at Ignore 1 skill rank, and I'm using martial melee, my chance to succeed is actually 50. I don't know why I have 50 or 61.
So no skill rank to add.
So yeah.
Okay.
So and then I rolled an 80, so I did not succeed. I'll use a fortune point.
So the first blow crashes into the threshold of the door.
I mean, don't you still have 2 more AP points? Or
I do, but I just want to reroll it.
gotcha.
So I rolled 39 that time, which is a success.
Sorry, I didn't want to get in the weeds on that one.
No, it's a good
So,
question.
so he has 3 action points. He used
Let's
an
let
action.
him do damage first. then
Okay,
do that.
so I rolled 11 damage.
11. Okay. So it is lightly wounded, unfortunately. Nothing really more than that.
And then it has to roll to see if it gets pushed out of the engagement because it has power.
1, 2, 3. It's at the door.
Which
4, 5, 6. It's
You're
inside.
not done.
It's inside.
Okay.
All right. So you shove. You're just gonna try to resist to be shoved outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
It failed. Roll a 76. So it shoved how many yards?
Just 1 yard, I believe.
Okay.
It's just pushed out of the engagement.
Yeah.
that's all
So
it is.
you bash the thing over the head with the weapon. Before I answer your question, Dave,
Yeah.
I do want to verify something here about
Yeah, sure.
punishing. Sorry, not punishing, but powerful. So powerful. After you deal damage with this weapon, at your option, the foe must successfully resist toughness or be shoved away from you 1 yard. This movement does not provoke opportunity attacks. So forced movement never does unless it says so.
Gotcha.
So to answer your question, so what was your question again?
So he did not succeed on his first attack. He had 3 AP points. He used 1 to attack. It was not successful. Could he have used his second AP to just attack again until he was successful?
He could have tried again, but his chances would be worse.
Got
Because
it.
if you miss the first time and you use another action point to try again, your chances get worse. So using a fortune point is actually beneficial because it's the same chance for success.
Okay.
And he may have something else very much in mind because he
Sure.
still has 2 action points.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yes.
It's a great question, though.
Yeah,
It's super it's a super technical question, but that is the reason.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it would become something like challenging or
It becomes
hard.
challenging. And if
Yeah.
you miss that time, the next one would be hard.
Gotcha.
Okay,
cool.
so for my final 2 actions, I'm going to turn to the remaining foe in my engagement, and I'm going to let's see here. I'm going to attempt to take down.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, you do a takedown, so you got at least 1 hand or leg free. So your chances to take this thing down, it is the same height or relative weight as you. So it is going to be a standard test.
So with takedown, I can either make an athletics or a coordination test. So
Yep.
it's usually best idea to pick the better of the both.
Sure.
So my athletics is 47. That's based on my brawn, and my coordination right here is based on my agility, which is 50. So I'm gonna attempt a coordination test. And,
Nice.
And what was the difficulty?
Standard.
Okay, so this is standard. I don't add anything to it or subtract, and I rolled a 97, so that is not a success.
Okay. So you can try to lunge toward it and sweep it off its legs, and although the thing is kind of like doing this, its sword's kind of weaving wildly like this, it still seems to have like some composure about its battle readiness, despite the fact this thing is twisted and cursed. Even though it cannot look directly at you, its burning eyes are kind of like in the side of the bottom of its skull, looking toward you. Its sword kind of weaves towards you, kind of lunge, and it kind of catches you off guard as you're on your back foot now.
So
You have 1 action point
with
left.
my last action point, I will attempt to take it down again since
Okay.
I missed.
Challenging test this time.
Okay, so challenging means it's a 40% chance to succeed.
Okay.
And this time I rolled a 33, which is a critical success.
Nice.
Which means
Get
it
in.
cannot resist.
So when
Get
you,
in,
when you
Toma.
crit succeed on a takedown, it cannot resist to your point. And it is, do you want to push it 3 yards or do you want to knock it down?
I want to knock it down.
Sweet.
Just lawnmowing.
Knock down.
motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
Well,
love it.
I am a warrior archetype, so
Yeah.
I just a little bit more combat effective, and I'm using a better weapon.
Yeah. So above board, the reason why you want to use perilous stunts, especially against enemies who are armored, doing enough damage, like in your case, Aspillicin, to actually penetrate the armor is very hard.
Mhm.
So you have to roll really well to do it. So knocking them on the ground gives you additional d6 cast die for damage. Charging and then using a melee attack gives you additional d6. So if you charged and melee attack somebody already on the ground, it's 1d6 for charge, 1d6 for being on the ground, 1d6 for your weapon.
Dig it.
And so your chances for dice explosions increase exponentially the more 6-sided you roll.
Sure.
Than triple. I don't know what the actual chances are. We used to know those things. We used to look at those when we were playtesting, but now it's just like, we know it's good.
Don't worry about it. It's good. We
Anything
fixed the
else?
sauce.
All right, so my turn is finished, and now it is Pipistrella's turn.
Okay.
Go Pipistrella.
Pipistrella.
Pipistrella starts yelling at the top of her lungs, and like steps kind of over this one that's on the ground, and just unleashes a flurry of blows as she starts yelling, "You abomination!"
She kicks ass for the Lord.
I love it. I love it.
So
She's like the power team.
Yeah, so it is going to be the one that's on the ground. We'll mark that. We'll make it easy.
Okay,
Why not?
so easy will bump that up to.
I just
Plus
see
29.
Pipistrella, like, I know you got some big blows, but I just kind of see this.
It's
Just finding those like
Yeah.
weak spots everywhere.
It's the Soma. And so that'll
Soma
be
does all the
a
work.
71%,
I'm just a vehicle. Really.
and a 69 will succeed.
Woo!
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Roll damage. It's 1d6 for Soma, 1d6 for your normal barehanded weapon, 1d6 for Soma. Calcified, no less.
Calcified.
Boom.
All
Big
right,
money.
here we
big
go.
money.
No sixes.
No.
And no fortune points.
No.
left to turn
All
any into
misfortune over here.
sixes. So 7 plus 6 is 13.
Nice. Okay, so, wow. Yeah, so it is now not seriously wounded, but grievously wounded!
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's almost yeah. So you're just beating the tar out of one of these casualties as just kind of laying into it. Whatever life it has in it is somehow being beaten from it. Roll 3d6 cast dice. Let's see if it suffers an injury.
Okay.
Pip.
There's a 6.
Oh!
That
She's
is
yelling,
injury.
she's
Nice.
yelling, "Custodian, I offer it to you!"
What is thy offering, Pipistrella? Here, pick your grievous injury card. Any card.
Severed artery.
Oh wait,
Nice.
you're using a barehanded weapon.
Yeah, I can't do grievous.
So you can't do
I
grievous.
can only do.
So barehanded weapon is a
Yeah.
weak weapon. You can only do up to serious injuries.
Well,
Got it.
Isn't it
Yeah.
pummeling?
It is pulling, so it's only
Yeah.
moderate.
So that was wrong.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have
that's
done
okay.
that, but
That's
yeah.
okay. What it is, what it is. So choose a moderate injury. Moderate injuries are not nearly as bad. They get progressively worse. Moderate, serious, and then grievous.
Pierced throat. Yay! They would gain 3 corruption if they had such things. An ally must treat injury. Until fully recuperated, they suffer 1d10 plus 1 physical peril after speaking.
Yeah.
Those things like to talk, they can't help it.
That's true.
And so, with my second action point, I will see this silhouette right next to me with the light from the door calling beyond, and she'll grit her teeth and say, "You're next!" as she dives underneath its legs in order to try and take it down and stand up.
Oh, nice. I love it. So that's a good creative way to do it. Routine. Why not? That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
she's tiny. So
I got you.
routine coordination will be 57%. And a 36 will succeed.
Yes.
Nice. You want to take it off its feet or push it backwards?
Take it off its feet.
I rolled a 51, so the thing The casualty collapses to the ground. Whump. Still lightly wounded, but now on the ground. And I believe you have one action point left.
I do, which she will just absolutely like let out this horrifying yet somehow squeaky roar as she's going to bank that action point.
No words as weapons.
No.
Okay. You bank your action point. That's good. So, quick point of clarification. If you have banked action points and your next turn begins, you do not accrue that action point.
Okay.
You simply refresh to 3.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Copy that.
So, anything else, Pipistrella?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there.
I got you.
Passing the baton to the casualties.
I got you. Okay. All right. So the at the far end here, back where the one was knocked on the ground by Pipistrella, it still has its sword. It makes a ragged. It kind of puts one hand underneath, but it lunges like it's kind of weaving kind of on its elbow. You can hear the creaking. You know when you hear your bones and muscles creak?
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can hear that sound in every time it moves, like you hear it in its joints. But its sword is like it clearly is like must have been a warrior in its former life as it lunges forward toward you. Yeah, for melee attack. I miss, but I'm gonna spend a misfortune point to reroll.
Missing it.
I'm not doing so hot tonight.
Yeah. Miss.
Knockdown City. I missed again. So
Called it.
it lunges
Let's go.
forward, and as it does so, it pivots on its elbow and comes up on its feet for 2 action points. As its turn is now over, using the weight of the weapon and its lunge, it comes to its feet and gets up for 2 action points. So it's now on its feet. Its turn is over. Back toward where Toma is, the one that's on the ground is actually going to try to pull itself up along you. It drops its sword, like you hear the rapier clatter before your feet as it reaches up toward your wearing armor.
Yeah, leather armor.
It grabs the girdle of your armor and kind of reaches up with it with a hand. As it proceeds to get up for 2 action points, and you can see its head's kind of twisted up like this. It kind of slowly cranes around to the opposite side, and both of its hands try to thrust out and try to grab you for a chokehold. And that is a miss. Wow. I have not made a single roll tonight. I'm going to use a misfortune point to re-roll that. I really want to land something tonight.
You're gonna miss it.
Just one.
Miss.
I hit.
Okay.
So you can attempt to resist a chokehold using athletics.
Or coordination.
Yep. Roll coordination.
So I will roll.
And yeah,
I'll roll coordination. And what's the difficulty?
standard.
Okay. So that is a 50% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 32. It's a success.
Nice. So you
Much
managed
success.
to escape from its chokehold. It is not choking the ever living life out of you.
Solid.
Yeah. And as for the other casualties, Adam, one thing we forgot is this room it's completely dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay though. We'll count for it now. You hear these things begin to kind of clamber up. You can hear its kind of muscles and its elbows and joints popping and twisting, and you can feel the brush of the death shroud it's wearing perhaps against your face. You hear the creaking and stressing of the armor, and you feel something lunge out toward you, and you can only see it because the slender blade is faintly illuminated by the light that comes through the door as a rapier strikes. This is its 3rd action point, so it got it get up for 2 action points. The final action point to strike you with this rapier.
Imagine glowing eyes, probably.
Yeah, 15.
Okay. So when she
Yes.
sees the blade coming toward her, she is incensed, and so she will actually lean into it to try and stop it from gaining any momentum behind it, and trying to parry.
Very nice. Okay, so whenever you're using a barehanded weapon, with the exception of like one profession, it's actually harder to parry when you're barehanded against an actual weapon.
Yep.
So your chances will be challenging. It's a challenging test.
Okay.
And parry is based off of whatever weapon you're holding in your primary hand, which is
Yep.
simple melee.
All right, so we got a 41% chance.
You got it.
50 will not.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah. So the rapier digs deep
Yep.
as you suffer 7 damage.
And at that moment, she says, "That's the good pain," and she starts laughing as she remains unharmed.
Nice.
Dope.
Somebody's got some nice damage threshold. Is it 7, isn't it? At 7? Yeah.
Yep.
Kid.
She's got 6 brawn and a wimple.
Yep. Wimple.
That Whipple.
Wimple. So you hear the other one kind of
That's awesome.
clambering up to its feet, and you feel something grab your leg, and you shake it off, and you can see the faint shadow of the other one kind of almost shuffle to the side as the thing's grabbing onto its clothes to get up. It's pulling on one another to come to its feet, and this one's grievously wounded, by the way. So if I move back to the figure cam, it comes to its feet, and as it does so, you hear the saber or the rapier like make a light kind of tinny sound as it hits the ground, and you feel these cold dead hands, the NRA, wrap around your neck.
Oh, okay.
Is this going to attempt to choke you?
No.
I roll a 96, which is not going to do it because that's my luck tonight.
Feels like Charleston has
But I
been
think
trying.
I'm gonna re-roll. I'll use a misfortune point, so that leaves you 3 fortune now. So you're seeing is you'll see a flow back and forth of fortune and misfortune that seems at really critical moments. My observation is that in combat they tend to flow back and forth very quickly. But depending on if you decide to hold on to them and just kind of hoard them for a moment, you can unleash them. In the case of players, it's a little more difficult because players want to succeed more, but you have more dice roll. But in the case of the GM, I tend to hold on to and just unload all of them.
Yeah.
I failed again. So you managed to kind of twist back. You can feel the wimple pulled around your throat a little bit, and you kind of twist out of it, so you were not in chokehold. If we move back to down yonder here, we know that these have kind of not done anything at this point. So the one that was previously twisted up in the whip is going to charge forward with its rapier hand. 1, 2. It provokes an opportunity attack from you immediately as
Okay.
Millicent. So go ahead and make an easy test with using your weapon in hand.
Okay.
So an easy test with your Widowmaker.
Okay. Easy 55, 65, 75.
Nice. Sorry, I'm here.
18.
Nice. You hit. Roll damage. It's just normal damage on an opportunity attack.
You just see Guillaume going, oh god.
4.
Oh, not enough. Just 4?
4 total.
Are you sure about that?
Wait, 1 die?
1d6. It's a normal
1d6.
weapon.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1d6 plus combat for 8.
8. Nice. My recommendation is to carry your numbers over to your second sheet under your weapons, so that you can always reference those whenever you strike.
Yeah, so that way you could put 1d6 plus 4 if you really wanted to.
Oh, I see. Can I use your pencil?
How much damage did you do? I'm sorry.
Oh, that pink one's mine, actually.
8.
8. Okay. Yeah. So it is. Oh my God! Lightning moderator is grievously wounded.
Yes!
Roll 3d6 chaos dice. If any of these land on 6, it suffers an injury.
Okay. Come on, 6. 5, 2, and 2.
No injury. Okay.
Did we skip Guillaume? Oh no,
No, it's
still
still
there.
there.
Yeah.
I got confused.
It's running toward Guillaume. It's charging actually. As it comes to the door, rapier in hand, it is grievously wounded. Just put a little ringlet around it. This frightening fellow. Hi. Hello.
Mhm.
Is going to attempt to kill thou. It is going to charge in. It is going to wait for the right moment by taking aim. I'm going to spend a misfortune point for that.
Okay.
And then it's going to use its final action point to melee attack.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so
Just seeing this sweaty
Jesus,
hooded
look
figure.
really good. So charge 2 AP, 1 to take aim, and then 1 misfortune point to attack.
Gotcha.
And I roll a 26. I hit.
Cool.
You banked an action point, so you can choose. No, you didn't. That's right. Oh,
Nope.
sorry. You can use a fortune point to attempt to parry if you wish.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
I got a game plan.
I rolled 2 and 2, but I'm gonna spend this misfortune point to turn it into a 6.
Cool.
Oh boy. Here it goes.
We need the brain box back.
Yeah, we need to restore the pool. Here, we'll leave these in your box for a moment.
Thanks.
So it's going to be a 6 plus 2, so 8, 9, 16 damage.
Cool.
Sorry, 15 damage.
I'm gonna spend a fortune point and use Grim Resolve and ignore all damage.
You do. Oh, you do. Nice.
It's one of my
Nice,
guys.
that's right. I'll take that fortune point.
Yeah,
Fortune point.
please.
Sweet. Oh, resolve. Nice. You grit your
It's a
teeth.
really good trait.
It is an excellent trait.
I had a game plan.
So I got this. I got this. So
Oh,
you
now
managed
you can do
to
better than
escape.
that.
You managed to escape that. There is a couple more of these bad guys left here. A few more just over here, right beside Toma.
Yeah.
One of them was pushed outside the door, and it is going to. I think it's probably going to try to close the distance. Right here, inside the threshold, and then it's going to attempt to use an attack against you, a melee attack. Oh, it's right here on Toma. So I rolled an 8. I miss again, and it will bank its last action point, and the one that's beside you is going to take aim and try to strike. We'll take aim for 1 action point, then melee attack for 1. And I roll a critical failure.
You do roll a lot of crits though.
I do. I roll lots of crits. When you critically fail a melee attack, you technically be disarmed.
Okay.
So as it lunges forward, you manage to catch the sword beneath your arm, Toma, and you rip it from its hand, and it goes clattering and spins
Fling.
just outside of easy reach, which means 3 yards away.
His easy reach.
Easy reach is basically what easy reach means. It's just it's a colloquialism we use around here, but anything that's outside of easy reach is 3 yards away.
He's an easy reacher.
Yeah.
So,
you have to spend 2 action points to get it. Move, hustle for 1 and 1 to pick it up. But it is now disarmed, and for lack of not trying, and because it's disarmed, this is going to thrust both its hand out, try to choke the life out of you. Maybe I'll land this. We'll see. I did. I rolled a 0-6. So you feel the cold dead hands of the casualty wrap around your neck. He kind of grabs the ruff around grabs the front of your shirt, pulls you in, and wraps its arms around you, kind of underneath of its elbow. It just.
So roll coordination to resist.
Okay. Oh, do you have a trait that allows you to do that? To escape a chokehold?
Oh, a chokehold. Okay,
Athletics.
sorry. Oh, athletics.
Yeah.
Athletics is chokehold or athletics or coordination.
To strike, not to resist.
Must resist with athletics. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so my athletics is 47. What's the difficulty?
It's standard.
Okay, standard. So 47%. Chance to succeed, and I rolled a 62. So I failed.
Oh no. Okay. So you are now caught in a chokehold. When you're caught in a chokehold, here's what happens. Your turn ends. Their turn ends immediately. You are caught in a chokehold, and you suffer peril. And you suffer 1d10 plus their brawn bonus, so 6 plus 2, so 8 physical peril.
Okay.
And it's got you held in place. And it's held in place. The only way that you can break a chokehold, there's 2 ways you can break a chokehold. First off, you can attempt to resist, to escape it on your turn, or somebody else can deal enough damage or peril to cause it to relinquish its hold.
Gotcha.
That's how it works.
So my peril threshold is 8, so I do not move down the peril condition track.
So he won't move down the peril condition track, but he is still caught in the chokehold regardless.
Right. Okay.
So its turn is its turn's over. He's at 3 action points. That's it. The casualties' turns are over, and now we move to Guillaume.
All right.
Guillaume, the thing is right on top of you.
Yep. So in this particular case, right, I would have my whip equipped right now. I do have a dirk at this point, even though it's the start of my turn.
Yep.
If I was switching, that would still cost an AP, right?
0.
0 AP.
0 AP to switch.
0 AP to switch. Yep.
So
You can go Zweihander, bow, dagger. You can get real funky with it if you want to. If you're mad at arms, you have
that
arms
is
on, you can
just
switch them.
plain
Yeah.
fun. So
You
very, very quickly, holstering his whip, you see this long, very thin dirk come out, and I am going to go ahead and I'm going to call my shot,
Oh, do a cold shot. Nice.
and
You
then
haven't done that yet.
and then I can make my melee attack.
Yep, you may.
Okay.
So this is going to be a standard test for you.
Okay.
But even though it's standard, a called shot you always suffer -10 to your chance to succeed.
Copy.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just trying stuff out.
Nope,
guys.
you're good.
so this is simple melee. So simple melee is this one, which is my combat. So it'd be 54.
Nice.
Then 10.
Cool. You hit. Roll damage. It can't parry or dodge. It did have an action point banked, if you remember. But it can't because you called shot. And a called shot,
got
your foe cannot parry
Cannot
or
parry.
dodge, and it suffers your weapon's damage to roll damage.
Let's go.
I thought that was purposeful, but it just happens to be happy. It's
I was trying
Kismet,
things
yeah.
out. That's what it 4 plus. Sorry, AB is 3, I believe. Plus 3, so 7.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7.
The blade silently moves between its ribs, and the thing slumps over under your body. And then, what is the last thing that it says as it dies? This is the words that it uttered whenever the casualty originally perished in war.
Not damage.
It originally perished in war.
Yeah.
Okay.
It repeats the words it said when it originally.
Oh my
had
God.
died.
Injured, you roll for
I remember you.
It slumps against you, and as you withdraw the dagger from beneath of its ribs, it falls to the ground, collapsing to the ground. And I think
I
we're-
officially love that weapon switch thing,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome.
And I think what we're going to do, with that being said, because we do want to play some
Oh, yeah.
Kingdom Death tonight,
Yeah.
is we'll actually bring this combat to a close. But I hope that this has given you a little bit more understanding. And it seems like, once again, you're a forever DM, so
Yeah.
all this clicked with you very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a lot of tactics and stuff that we can use in the middle of a game to kind of like combo things together.
Sure.
And
I was thinking of like
That's
the push-back closed door.
yeah,
Like-
you can do that too. Yeah, if you need to bar yourself in, it's all contextual. It's always about the environment, the area you're in. So if you were together, that would have been a smart move. Like try to get them into turkey shoot as 10 calls through a narrow stairway. So thanks
awesome.
for watching for those who have watched. And
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, viewers. If you like what you're seeing, take the next step. Head on over to our Patreon where we create content for Zweihander and other games. Just go to grimandperilous.com and click on the Patreon button. Thanks.